Alright. What's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Today, going to be taking a look at XRP against USDT. Going to be taking a look at some of these key technical aspects of price action moving forward. Going to be assessing some of the pivotal areas of support and resistance I believe we're going to be interacting with in the very near future here. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you trade? Do you hold? Or do you let the price action unfold? What are you doing with your bag if you have one? Are you bullish on price action? Do you think we've found support and we're likely to recover, interact with that dollar, multi-dollar kind of range that we came from in the not so distant past here? Are you still bearish on price action, and are we yet to find support, and some more downside is ahead of us in the short term here, some more phases of accumulation present themselves, or is XRP heading straight to zero? Let me know your thoughts on the direction of price action down in the comment section down below. By now, jumping right into it, to kind of recap price action that has interacted with this ascending trend line from the kind of middle of March of 2020. We have price action interacting with it both as support and resistance for the kind of like weeks to months, in addition to the pivotal areas of horizontal support and resistance that we got kind of rejections and kind of support from along the way. But a more relevant kind of zone of price action, I believe, is around this kind of phase of accumulation and support found around the 25-cent level. Around kind of like, October to November of 2020, price action was bullish enough to rally in a very vertical manner from 25 cents all the way to a kind of swing high of 78 cents into a very critical zone of sell pressure at the time, under 79 cents and above 72 cents. And so that was a kind of critical zone kind of moving forward. Upon that rejection, it sent price action plummeting into a range, I believe, between resistance at 62 cents and support around kind of like 46 cents. And so we traded in a kind of sideways manner for a good like almost a month kind of thing before breaking downward, setting these like lower highs, and price action becoming kind of more bearish in this phase of accumulation after a kind of pump like that. In addition to, I believe, some fundamentals that were kind of going on with XRP at that time. We had price action either way kind of break downward below that ascending trend line to interact with that very critical 25-cent level that we kind of came from in that pump. We even broke kind of downward to a more critical bearish target of like 16 cents, kind of 17 cents, but price action bounced in a very bullish manner to trade, I believe, within a range around 31 cents to 25 cents, that critical kind of buy zone, for a good like tens of days before rallying upward vertically again. But we sent a kind of like lower high relative to that swing high on the 24th of November. The 1st of February was, a tad more bearish in the short term, but still bullish in the long term, as this new phase of accumulation between that, again, kind of like 62 cents and kind of 46 cents that we had was bullish enough to set us into the kind of dollar, almost $2 there that we kind of just came from. Price action interacted with some very significant resistance, and an abrupt change of momentum occurred, and we broke downward into this kind of like upper zone above what could have been even more bullish level of support around 79 cents, but resistance at this kind of $1.06 level, I believe, was like significant enough to send price action plummeting through this kind of like potential support zone at kind of like 72 to 79 cents, which has now become the very significant sell zone again. So price action, I do believe, is going to face a lot of rejections for that range moving forward. In addition to price action being on the underside of that ascending trend line, I do believe some very high sell pressure, some pullbacks will be kind of met when price action is found at kind of 72 to kind of 79 cents there in the kind of short term. But now a new perspective comes into play when we consider EngineeringRobo along with the fettuccine lines of zucchinis. We can see new perspective come into play. In addition to, we have this 200 daily moving average, which is going to be a very big bullish or bearish technical indicator kind of moving forward. Price action found above the 200 daily moving average is far more bullish in the long term, although we do have price action breaking down below and potentially experiencing a rejection off of it on the 29th of June there. Price action below the 200 daily moving average is going to be a quite technically bearish. Potentially, there's going to be a lot of sell pressure along the underside of that. In addition to my significant zone of resistance and that ascending trend line, seems that we have a whole lot of resistance kind of just ahead of us here, just above that. Even if we can find ourselves above that ascending trend line, above the 200 daily moving average, and even above the top of my kind of zone here at 79 cents, 81 cents is the 0.382 Fibonacci line, another significant point of resistance that could slap price action back down to potential support at the kind of lows that we'll reach for. A more bullish target we can find support at is this 62-cent level, which I do believe price action is a tad bearish to head kind of down toward. I do believe candle bodies might have to interact with that level. Say we are bearish enough to fail to hold that range, that could send us to a potential target of the 0.236 Fibonacci line at 54 cents. Price action is found interacting with that level on the 22nd and 23rd of June. So that is, not an unlikely target if price action is bearish enough to kind of make its way down there. And we do have a lot of technical sell pressure present at the moment. In addition to EngineeringRobo, that sell 4 that came in on the kind of 19th of May, is also suggesting some very high sell pressure present. And so once EngineeringRobo becomes more bullish, we can be more bullish in the short term. Once price action is above that 200 daily moving average, we can be more bullish in the kind of like midterm to long term. In the very long term, I'm still bullish fundamentally on XRP. I do believe, the $1 multi-dollar range can present itself in XRP's future, but perhaps, some more downside, some more lows, some more phases of accumulation might have to present themselves in order for the trend to kind of continue upward. But when we consider XRP against Bitcoin, we can see a new perspective come into play here. We consider this very critical range. I believe potential support at kind of lows around 1530 Satoshi, in addition to local resistance at 2267 Satoshi, could be the very significant range that we find price action trading between. We have price action experiencing this crazy range of sideways, what appears to be sideways for almost 2 months, a good for like 60 days between this critical zone above what appears to be resistance currently, but above that 2271 Satoshi level. We had price action bouncing off of it and interacting with resistance at kind of 2895 Satoshi. We have also examples of price action breaking that support at 2271, reaching into this lower zone here. And we also have price action breaking that resistance at kind of 2886, reaching up into a higher zone of resistance. And so price action could find its way very sideways and experience some perhaps fake outs upward or downward along the way before we can kind of solidify the overall direction. And so a new perspective comes into play when we consider price action interacting with the fettuccine lines of Illuminati, bikinis, and zucchinis, the 200 daily moving average. In addition to EngineeringRobo's buy and sell suggestions, we have a tad more bullish perspective, in my opinion. Price action above that 200 daily moving average against the price of Bitcoin does suggest, so perhaps some more short-term hope, some more, buy pressure is there hidden still. It could keep us, sideways against this very high technical sell pressure. The 0.618 line is going to be some local resistance moving forward, kind of right above us at that 2013 Satoshi level. Price action, perhaps could be bearish enough to get slapped from that level all the way back toward that 200 daily moving average, which is going to be a potential critical level of support moving forward, which will be very bullish for price action in the kind of midterm. Although failure to hold that range could send us to potential support at my 15 kind of 27 Satoshi level support line there. Failure to hold that range could send us to an even more bearish target of the 0.786 Fibonacci line at 1396 Satoshi, although price action could very well find support along that 200 daily moving average, and we could kind of recover from there. We'll have to see kind of how interaction with this resistance at the 0.618 Fibonacci line kind of plays out. We do have the sell 4 present still on the 21st of May against the price of Bitcoin here. So some very high sell pressure is present. So I do believe perhaps we are bearish enough to come back down toward the 200 daily again, although support could be found at kind of any moment. So lots going on with XRP against the price of Bitcoin. When we consider Bitcoin against USDT, we can see a new perspective come into play here. Price action interacting with this very, very pivotal, critical, and very crucial level moving forward. This 0.5 Fibonacci line, $34,318.07 per Bitcoin, is very critical moving forward. We have price action getting slapped up and down around this range for the past kind of few days here. Price action could very well be bearish enough to fall through it and interact with 32K again, although this kind of bounce on the kind of 22nd of June and the 26th of June seem quite bullish. I do believe in the short term here, and could be what gives us enough momentum to find support at this 0.5 Fibonacci line, which will be even more bullish in the short term and could give us the momentum to potentially climb all the way back toward very significant resistance found at the 0.618 Fibonacci line. $41,524 per Bitcoin is going to be a very significant kind of sell point. I do believe, what price action on the 15th of June got near that range and exhausted, and sent us plummeting back to that 0.5 Fibonacci line that we came from kind of a few days prior. So there's very significant sell pressure still, and a lot of take profit levels ahead of us. And I do believe there's a lot of retracements and pullbacks pending upon these kind of pumps that occur. The fundamental buy pressure for Bitcoin at these levels, I do believe, is ultimately very high and is keeping us, still bullish among this very high technical bearish sell pressure. Price action below this 200 daily moving average, in addition to potential kind of projection off of it on the 26th of May here, is very high technical sell pressure, and there's going to be a lot of traders taking profit and selling off of the underside of that level, and so. We do have kind of a lot of weeks or days ahead of us before we can get back above that range, and so we'll have to see kind of how price action can, maintain through this very high, like I said, technical sell pressure. But the fundamental buy pressure of Bitcoin, I do believe, is ever so bullish, and in the long term, we can still be bullish on Bitcoin, even if we see price action at my more bearish targets at the 0.382 Fibonacci line, 27,100 is still, I can still be bullish long term on Bitcoin. Say we fail to hold that level. Let me plummet all the way to the 0.236 line, $18,000 per Bitcoin, around my $19,000 support level. I'm still long-term bullish at that range. That would be kind of one of the kind of more bullish ranges that we can kind of pull back to and accumulate from, seeing as we had a very, very bullish and near parabolic run from that kind of October, November of 2020. Price action has been on the up kind of ever since. And so, this pullback, this consolidation, this accumulation perhaps might be what's necessary for the uptrend to continue. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? What are you doing with your bag if you have one? Do you trade Bitcoin? Do you trade XRP? Are you accumulating in these lows, or did you sell your whole bag? What are you doing during this FUD-filled experience in the crypto sphere here? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Try EngineeringRobo free with a link in the description. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check out all the other social media down below, and tune in for the next one.